according to a large-scale survey by Georgetown University that actually had over 54,000 respondents, defensive gun use, which can be brandishing or even a verbal warning, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're pulling the trigger, is actually higher among Black and Hispanic gun owners than white gun owners. Black gun owners, 44.3% reported defensive use compared to Hispanic gun owners at about 39%, white gun owners at 29%, Asian at 26%, and American Indian at 47.7%. This suggests that when minorities legally own firearms, they're more likely to use them defensively, underscoring how legal gun ownership can be a critical tool when it comes to self-protection in communities that may experience higher vulnerability or lower confidence in institutional protection. This goes alongside with another significant trend, which is the growth of minority-led organizations promoting safe and legal gun ownership. A notable example is the National African American Gun Association. This was founded in 2015, so it's relatively new. The NAAGA now has over 45,000 members. They have over 75 chapters nationwide. In Memphis, the local NAAGA chapter, called the 901 Brothers Sisters Keeper, focuses on empowering Black women and children with firearm safety training and self-defense education. These chapters play a vital role in the community by providing legal knowledge, training, and empowerment, demonstrating how firearms ownership can be a responsibility integrated into minority self-advocacy. We've definitely seen this in San Diego, and I think it's an extremely important part of Second Amendment advocacy. And I think that the narrative that's pushed is the exact opposite of what the facts bear out by an organization like Georgetown University, not exactly a pro-Second Amendment organization, right? So I think this is something particularly interesting and an opportunity for pro-Second Amendment advocacy. I think that, whether or not you agree politically in other places with, minority communities, whatever that minority community is, this is an opportunity for you to show something that you agree with that community on. Or maybe if you're a part of that community, it's an opportunity for you to say, hey, I understand your concerns, I understand your plight, and this is something that I think is important to your safety. I think it's important to the community in general. There's a lot of really good reasons that all kinds of different communities that maybe aren't necessarily normally thought of as being pro-Second Amendment to get into gun ownership. A lot of people say, or a lot of the communities say that, hey, they're underappreciated, or they're in an elevated level of threat compared to other communities. Okay, no need to argue with that. If that's their reality or if that's their perception, fantastic. I think you should be a gun owner. If you feel that you are in a position of elevated danger and you need to be protected, then great, let's show you how. And the Second Amendment is, of course, all about the most effective self-defense tool ever invented, which is, of course, the gun. So as we say all the time, get a gun, get training, get a permit, and carry everywhere you go. There we go.
One thing I found interesting, what do you remember the day or the year that your brain went, I need to do this? Like, what year was that? I know when the organization started, San Diego County Gunners, but when did you be like, this needs to happen? The
organization needs to happen, or gun ownership needs to happen in my personal life? When did I first figure out I need to buy a gun, or when did I start San Diego County Gun Owners?
Well, here's where I'm going with this.
Sure.
So I'm just kind of, as you were speaking, I was reading this whole information here about the in AAGA, NAAGA.
Yep.
They were founded in 2015. I'm thinking, is that likely around the same time frame that you kind of are like, this organization needs to be a thing?
It's the same year.
That's why I'm like, as I'm saying, I'm like, what was happening? So this is clearly not in California. Yeah. I just find that interesting. There's yet another organization that is pro-Second Amendment, pro-self-defense, pro-supporting people, almost like it
I think that's a good point. I see what you're saying, and I think in the 2010s, a lot of things had come to a head. It was the Heller versus DC and then McDonald had both come out from the Supreme Court. So they said, hey, it is an individual right, and the states do have to respect that individual right. So I think that created a lot of context, but there were also states like Florida that started to say, hey, we're just going to be shall issue. We're going to start issuing permits, and that had a domino effect too. Also, I think that there was a feeling that, right around that year, there was a feeling that maybe the Second Amendment organizations weren't serving modern interests, that there was still kind of a good old boy, we're going to go hunting, kind of attitude where, there's nothing wrong with hunting and there's still a lot of hunters that are pro Second Amendment. But I think that things were transitioning from a rural hunting tradition to an urban or suburban self-defense need. And, there was a vacuum of leadership in that way. I think a lot of groups popped up right around that time. A few years earlier, FPC popped up, SAF started making changes right around that time. NRA was going through a tough spot, and it looks like they're kind of coming out of that tough spot.
Right.
But I think you're right. I think right around mid 2010s was a little bit of a watershed year when it comes to Second Amendment, and very much a transitional decade when it comes to Second Amendment, or at least advocacy. Hey, thanks for watching Gun Owners Radio. I hope you loved that clip. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us on social media, and check out our website at gunownersradio.com.